Léo, welcome.
Thank you, Loic. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, how are you doing?
Doing super great. I mean, we're in Cannes. This is the Côte d'Azur. It's sunny, so no reason to be not doing good.
Yeah. How's the event so far? You made good business?
Great. Yeah. So we made some interesting connections. It's definitely interesting to see what everyone has been up to. So take the opportunity of these events to strengthen relationships with people we already know, and always have the opportunity to find some new people, new ideas, new interesting projects. So it's been going great.
Yeah, I've heard we are having a lot of talks, right? And the word that comes regularly is about this is the end of the hype, and this is the real work, right? The adoption, right? Would you confirm that the feeling that everyone have around?
Yeah, I would agree with that. There's definitely a fatigue of Web3 for Web3, doing really deep DeFi stuff that's not related to the real world, So, I mean, I love DeFi, but eventually, I think at this point we have enough L2s, we have enough, yet another things that doing the same thing over and over again. And I think people, both users, investors, builders, everyone is looking to do something meaningful at this point, RWA is the best word to describe it, real world assets, because people want to see some stuff that have impact on their day-to-day life.
Yeah. I mean, that's a feeling. Real adoptions and real usage is driving not only it's the narrative, right? But it's also driving the values of different projects. I believe that now in the market that there is valuations goes not only with the hype, and the focus on a given company, but it goes as well with the real usage, right? The real adoptions. Would you confirm something?
This, and we've seen how projects that were super highly valued only based on hype have done recently, right? I can't think of a token except for maybe Hyperliquid that has gone up and to the right, like we say, since their launch this year or last year. So there's definitely appetite for something more meaningful at the moment.
Yeah. So look, important that we talk a bit about Suzaku, right?
Yeah.
You are maybe you're going to talk about what is Suzaku better than I do. I know you, and we know you because we're working together on a very exciting project to facilitate, BTC.b and thanks to Avalanche, etc. So, but first, before we talk about the project that we have in common, can you tell us a bit more about Suzaku? What is your mission? What you guys are doing? Gauthier is not here with us today, but what is your vision?
Yeah, so we're Suzaku. We're an Avalanche-based project, right? And so you can see Suzaku as a decentralization hub for Avalanche L1s. And so basically what we are doing, enabling with Suzaku, is we are helping these Avalanche chains. So maybe first of all, a quick word about Avalanche. With Avalanche, it's super easy to create your own layer 1 blockchain dedicated to one or more specific use case that you decide, right? And so around your chain, you have your own block space, your own validator, your own consensus and data availability layer. And so it's really important because with Avalanche, you truly have a blockchain that's ready to use and that is sovereign, right? And so what we're doing with Suzaku is enabling these chains, these L1s, go from almost POC stage where they launch their chain and it's completely centralized in the sense that the validators are only managed by themselves, right? The team that's launching the L1. We help them to move from this stage to progressively adding more permissionless and more decentralization. So how we are doing that is we are helping these chains, these Avalanche L1s, come up with everything security related, crypto economic security related, to move from centralized to decentralized. So the easiest example of what we do is implement proof of stake. So same as a lot of chains, you can require validators to stake a certain amount of your token in order for them to become validators, start receiving reward and participating in the consensus. But that's only a small subset of what we're doing, right? We're also borrowing some concept of restaking. And so if that's something that L1s are interested in it, they can use assets that are already staked, such as AVAX, stablecoin, or even BTC, to provide more crypto economic security to their chains. And so this is something that we're also doing with Suzaku. we're going to launch mainnet in September, and we have a couple of L1 partners that we are lining up. I can talk about a few of them. One of them is a gaming project on Avalanche called Player. Another one of them, you might know about it, it's called BTC.b. So with BTC.b we have this BTC chain with BTC as gas token, with a whole concept of tokenized Bitcoin mining infrastructure at the heart of the chain. And so this particular chain, BTC.b, that we are working with, they will use BTC as a restaked asset, right, to secure the chain. So these are just a few examples of what we can do with Suzaku. And the whole idea is to help every Avalanche L1s go from launched and centralized to a proper path to decentralization. How they want to do it, and following the timeline that they want to achieve.
It's very important, the mission that you're pursuing at Suzaku, because even though here at ETHCC in Cannes, everyone talks about crypto, about stuff built on infrastructure, but we shouldn't forget that behind the scene, for all those transactions to be validated, there is a network, there is an infrastructure, and this infrastructure has its own code, has its own, let's say, technicalities, and that must be, mastered somehow. And that's somewhere, the mission of Suzaku in the, let's say, philosophy of Avalanche, because the Avalanche philosophy is about deploying, L1s, right? And that's a strong vision, a strong commitment from the Avalanche foundations. I believe it's highly needed, and we've seen recently FIFA, right, validating and building their own L1s with Avalanche. So there is a need of an aggregator, there is a need of a central point, there is a need of, exactly that, what you're doing. So inspiring. Yeah. And how you've been doing so far? When you launched Suzaku with Gauthier? And how and why, maybe? Because
good question.
Tell me a bit about yourself, in the sense that we talk about exactly what you do today, but where does that come from, right?
Yeah, the journey, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So we started working on Avalanche more than 2 years ago now, in early 2023. With my co-founder Gauthier, we were always super bullish in the Avalanche vision, right? That should we have more and more use cases, if not all of them, Web 2 use cases to Web 3, there's not going to be enough of a single or maybe a couple chains to cover all of that needs, right? And so the Avalanche vision is that with Avalanche, it's super easy to create a chain that's dedicated to what you want to do. Highly customizable, like when it comes to the validator, say the native gas token, etc. We've always been super bullish in that vision. And so this is why we wanted to work on Avalanche. So we did a couple of things for the Avalanche ecosystem. And at some point we realized that most of the Avalanche chains that are live today, it's still the case today, apart from a few examples, they are still centralized, right? Why is that? It's not necessarily a bad thing to be centralized. I mean, a lot of these chains are running their own validator set because they are still trying to find product market fit, right? And so for them, it's more important to have a good product, find product market fit, than starting to worry about being decentralized. But still, while talking to these projects, to this Avalanche L1 chain, we realized that a lot of them want to decentralize, but they have no idea on how to go around and do that. There are a few implementations that are available out of the box from Avalanche to decentralize L1s, but it's not really flexible. You have to do everything in one go, and you cannot go back if you miss things up. And so this is how we got the idea of Suzaku, that it really made sense for us to build these security modules, plug-and-play security modules, that all these L1s can leverage, and especially one key point of Suzaku is the progressiveness, right? Go progressively from a centralized model to a decentralized model at your own pace. This is something I think quite unique that we're offering in the space for Avalanche L1 and even for L1 chains as a general.
Well, that's great. That's great. Well, my expertise is not on what you do, right? And that's why I love to talk to you, basically, because it's so inspiring, and it's a side of the industry that I don't understand. What I really understand, and I will talk a bit about what brought us to Plan B together, is the problem that we have today, for example, as a miner, to cope with Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin is an incredible system, right? The first blockchain. It's the first and today the most valued asset in the world. But we're mining Bitcoin, and we know how difficult it is to do anything with Bitcoin, right? The chain is not done for fast transactions. It costs expensive in gas fees, right? on the other side, is highly secure, right? This is what it's made for. However, more and more people owning Bitcoin struggle, right? And ourselves, while we mine it, struggle to do something with it because we've seen the value of exchanging it in the decentralized way. We've seen the value of collateralizing it to borrow against it, right? And what I understand is that a functional need then to have an ecosystem, to have a tool that helps me to do something in a decentralized way with my Bitcoin. And that's why we come up together
exactly.
on Plan B. So, look, I know Plan B, but can you tell us a bit more about it, right? From a technical standpoint, what is the added value of such a platform and what it's poised to grow, right?
Yeah. So I think you pretty much summed it, and the fact that, I mean, Bitcoin is huge today, right? And so there are a lot of people, when you tell them about Bitcoin, they are telling you, listen, I don't want to do anything with my Bitcoin. I just want to hold it as a secure digital gold asset and do nothing with it, right? But there are more and more people that want to actually do stuff with their Bitcoin. And so there's been demand, and I think there is appetite for, it's a bit of a buzzword, but I think it's accurate. It's something that we call BTC-fi, right? So it's like compaction between DeFi and BTC. And so there is demand on that. People want to do stuff with their Bitcoin. And this is where we come with Plan B. So it's Plan B to go a bit more into the details. We are going to launch an Avalanche L1, so a sovereign blockchain with its own block space and validator set that will be using BTC as gas token. So technically it will be BTC.b, which is a bridge version of Bitcoin in the Avalanche ecosystem. It's worth to mention that the Avalanche bridge from Bitcoin to Avalanche has been around for a couple of years now. It was actually using concepts that are really hyped today, like multi-party compute, trusted execution environment, before it was such a buzz, you know. And so it's been around for a while. It has handled literal billions of back and forth between Bitcoin and the Avalanche chain. Never an issue, never been down, never been hacked. I think today the BTC.b asset on Avalanche has like a 500 million market cap, something like that. It's one of the highly capitalized wrapped Bitcoin assets in EVM chains. And so what we're doing with Plan B is leveraging that, building on top of that to have a chain, an EVM compatible chain that will be using this asset BTC.b, so BTC, right, as the native gas token for the chain. And so at the heart of the chain, with Plan B's partner WeMine, will be this tokenized Bitcoin mining infrastructure, right?
Yeah.
That will sit at the center of the chain, which will allow for anyone to just deposit Bitcoin and earn native Bitcoin yield in return. And so that will be at the core of the chain, and around that we want to build a whole BTC-fi ecosystem with all the DeFi primitives that we're used to having on EVM chains. So DEXs, lending markets, potentially even NFTs if people want to build that. So yeah, that's really exciting. That again, I think there's definitely a strong appetite for that, and again, Avalanche with the structure of L1 and the strongness of BTC.b, right? I think is the perfect place to build this.
Yeah. I mean, I'm convinced, right? We're building it together, and I really hope that this particular infrastructure will be the starting point of something bigger. I'm really in love with the vision of the Avalanche Foundation regarding L1s. I think there is a need of, privacy. There is a need of isolating different blockchain, right? So we know that there is a challenge of security, but I believe that through Suzaku, right, this is something you help creators of L1s to ensure, right? And that's why we're very pleased to collaborate with you on this one. I believe that down the line there will be environment where people will feel free to have their Bitcoin and to do again something with it, because people doesn't realize that an asset doesn't have to be something standalone, right? It's an asset that you can collateralize and you can do something with it.
Eventually, with your euros and dollars in your bank account, that they're not doing anything. They're working, right? So
yeah, they're working
I hope
for the
them.
bank.
And anyone listening, true. But anyone listening, don't keep your euros in an account that does nothing, right? It's a bad thing to do. So eventually, why not do the same with Bitcoin?
Yeah, absolutely. And we see a lot of people that today have liquidity, USDT, go on this lending protocol basically to stack and to get 5-10% based on the market condition, yield on that.
Yeah.
So I think the same way you can do something with your Bitcoin, either borrowing, lending, or even yielding on it through, and I believe, again, that because and that's a discussion we just got with a friend from Kraken. Programmatic on Bitcoin might happen, right? But through what we've just seen, runes, ordinals. Well, they are great innovation, I would say, but I don't feel that they have the, let's say, the specificities to scale, right? And tomorrow people say, yeah, of course I will, borrow land on the Bitcoin chain. I mean, so I
these
believe
are good
that
proof of concept, but we are still far from.
yeah, exactly. And
adoption.
for us, it's very good, for miners, ordinals and rules. Why? Because it creates way more transactions on the chains and it creates huge amount of fees. But huge amount of fees means what? Means the people are paying so much for their transaction to be proceeded on Bitcoin. So, it's not sustainable, right? You're not going to pay half of your Bitcoin to get a transactions on a smart contract or something like this. So there is a need, and that's why we're doing what we do. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me, last words regarding Suzaku. What are the next steps? I know that there is something boiling, right? You are about.
Yeah.
Now, tell me exactly where you stand.
I see what you're talking about. So we'll be doing your TGE quite soon, the next coming week.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thanks. During July. We have just started yesterday, actually, a public sale with our partners at Colony. So decentralized seed stage, decentralized seed stage investing vehicle on the Avalanche ecosystem. And we will be having a public sale coming later this month as well.
Awesome.
And after that, it will be the TG for Suzaku. So yeah, we've got a busy summer coming our way. And so yeah, like I mentioned earlier, all of this will lead to the mainnet protocol launch in probably September during Q4.
So to conclude, one question regarding again, because we have people listening to us today that just discovered or heard more about Suzaku.
Yeah.
How they can get in touch with you, how they can collaborate, what if anyone from the community wanna get in touch and contribute to Suzaku, what they can do with it?
Good question. So the best place to find updates and interact with Suzaku is on X. So at Suzaku Network, everything.
We'll
in
drop
one
the
word.
link
Yeah.
below the video.
Yeah, that would be perfect. The Suzaku core protocol is not live yet on mainnet, but you can still stake and restake assets to earn what we call Suzaku points.
Okay.
It's like a pre-launch campaign. It allows us to reward early adopters of the protocol. So this is already live, and we have just actually announced a referral program as well. So you can go ahead to app.suzaku.network, start staking or restaking assets such as AVAX or BTC on the Avalanche C chain, and start accruing Suzaku points. You can also invite your friends and earn more points on top of that. And so yeah, that's how you can interact with Suzaku as well. So we are mostly active on X. You can also join your Discord, obviously. But yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Loic.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for
Léo.
having me.
Yeah.